I'm Dan, and this is 10,000 Hours of Indie, a podcast exploring new music and delving deeper into what goes on in the background of the independent music industry. I'm a musician and passionate music lover, and I wanted to delve deeper into new music in the independent scene around the world. I also saw this as a chance to help artists connect and share their stories, so if there's someone you hear and you want to find out more about, every podcast has links in the show description. Get involved, help this community grow, follow on the 10,000 Hours of Indie socials, you can find all the links in the show description. And also feel free to email me about anything music related, 10,000indie@gmail.com. I'm open to any ideas and love listening to your promos. Temporary Blessings are a Melbourne-based collective, band, whichever you choose, formed by trumpeter Liam McKk. Assembled to realise Liam's compositions drawing on 1960s Italian and French soundtrack music, the ensemble brings together trusted instrumentalists and fellow travellers from Melbourne's rich enclave of cinematic soul, stolen directly from the Bandcamp page. The debut album Sumbisori is due on the 4th of December, and it's amazing. For anyone my age and from the UK, I would say it's a cross between a great James Bond soundtrack and the David Holmes soundtracks from the films like Ocean's 11. So, hello, Liam. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much for having me.
So, you are the first trumpeter on the podcast.
There you go. An honour. Thank you.
But you also play some keys as well, I believe.
Yeah, a bit of everything, I guess. I started out playing the trumpet throughout school, and then went and studied like a jazz course here in Melbourne on the trumpet, and then sort of decided I got into like writing songs, and then taught myself piano and guitar and all those sort of things, and just started bashing it out. So yeah, bit of everything, I guess.
Let's delve into your sort of musical background a little bit more, because you've been in quite a few bands and things over the years as well. So sort of what drew you to this project? What built to this point?
I think in terms of this sort of music, I've always been as a trumpet player, as you mentioned, been a big fan of people like Ennio Morricone and those big sort of trumpet sort of soundtracks and from the 60s and 70s. And I guess over the way, I've sort of played in a lot of different sort of bands on the soul tip, bands like Sasquatch, and playing with my partner Ella, who's a fantastic singer and songwriter at the moment. Ella Thompson's her name, and a few other sort of things. But yeah, I guess I've always wanted to make an instrumental record, and I grew up listening to Ennio and sort of idolizing those sort of soundtracks, and also the music from in America, in New York, and bands like the Manahan Street Band and El Michaels Affair and all of those sort of things. And I guess I've always wanted to sort of make a record on that sort of tip and incorporate it all together.
I love the name of the project, Temporary Blessings. I think it fits the music really well. Where did that come from?
Just trying to be a bit of a mantra for the band, just to enjoy the moment, and blessed to sort of play with friends and have that sort of ensemble going. I'm lucky to have a great sort of pool of friends who are like-minded and on the same sort of page into the same sort of music. So yeah, blessed by their sort of presence and involvement. So yeah, that's where it kind of came from.
Sumbisori is defined as the distinctive whistling sound made by the Jeju Heionyeo, I'm not going to pronounce it right, but that's close enough, or women divers when they surface after a dive. How did you discover that, and why is it the album title?
I'm part of a book club here in Melbourne, Australia, called The Page Dreamers. We read this great book by Lisa C., I think the Island of Sea Women, which is based on the Haenyeo women in Jeju Island in Korea, and they're kind of like free divers, and they provide for their family. Like the women go out to sea and dive for like 2 minutes at a time or something. It's crazy. Like part of the story was describing this Sumbisori sound, and when they kind of come back from a big dive, they make this unique sound that's only unique to them. And I think I was kind of drawn by, everyone having their own unique sound when they're doing this crazy surface thing. And I guess it was a bit of a metaphor for making my own music and making my own sound and getting out there and doing it. So I think, yeah, it was a beautiful book and storyline, and obviously no real comparison to the tough life that they live. But yeah, it's a beautiful sentiment, and, getting out there, and everyone's got their own sort of unique sort of sound and flavor when they make music or art.
Let's talk about the album. This is very much your project. How much outside influence have you had while making the album?
Oh, so much. I think in music we like to idealize. Everyone's got their own sort of thing, and they do their own thing, and it's very much a one-person show sort of thing. But the reality in my sort of experience, at least, has been takes a village to raise a child sort of thing. It's everyone's kind of involved. And as mentioned before, like in Melbourne, got a lot of great sort of musical sort of cultures and community, and blessed to have a lot of friends that play in some amazing bands like Surprise Chef, Karate Boogaloo, so many different ensembles here, which are inspiring. And those friends are, really, really helpful and helped write and arrange and put it all together. But I brought in the tunes and kind of directed it. But it's very much a team game.
Was this written more as, looking at it from a sort of classical perspective, you wrote a score, or was it created like you would a rock band? You all got in a room and you had an idea and everybody jammed it out?
I think more the former, actually. Like, part of the reason I love this sort of music, as we've already spoken about, with Ennio and composers like Francois de Roubaix and Bruno Nicolai, some of the heavyweight sort of French and Italian composers of the 60s and 70s, they're very much classical influenced in the way that they write music, and be it theme and variation and associating a theme with a character. And I just love those scores and those movies and seeing that sort of things come to life, and kind of tried to do a bit of that myself. Not anywhere near their sort of genius, but I think, just writing a few themes and putting them in different sort of moods and arranging them different ways. It's super inspiring music, and just wanted to make my own sort of flip on that. And luckily had a team of great people that helped out, Lachlan Stuckey and Hudson Whitlock and Henry Jenkins, to name a few. Very, very much influenced by their music and those people as well.
So that was your original aim, but how well did the final album fulfill the sort of brief you set out with? Was it?
Maybe about sort of 60-40, I guess. I'd love to say it was all sort of planned out and arranged and written perfectly and taken to the band. But I think part of the joy in sort of making this music in this format and collaborating with people is that things change from the demo or from the original thing. And for instance, best to embrace it and go with the flow. And the way that we record music is very much influenced by, bands that we've spoken about as well, like a lot of Daptone records, Big Crown records, throwback to the band in the room. Everyone's recording at the same time, doing it all together. And in that situation, things aren't perfect. They're always changing. It's super exciting and a great way to sort of make music, I think.
And how long has it taken you from starting the very first piece you wrote for this to the album being completed?
It's actually taken such a long time. I think I started writing the music for this in 2022, and we recorded it the same year. But it's just been in a bit of a release queue with the label, the College of Knowledge in Melbourne here, an incredible label releasing a lot of the aforementioned bands: Surprise Chef, Karate Boogaloo, Let Your Hair Down, The Proteins, some really great acts here in Melbourne. But they've got so much good music to share that it just got pushed back a little bit. And, glad that it's had that time to sort of be shaped and fully formed in this way. And I think it's definitely, obviously, while that's a lot of time, like 3 years, for me, it's been the perfect timing. It's been good to kind of get on a roll, put it together. And then, we're on to doing some new stuff, going to record a new record next year, which is early next year, which is super exciting.
You've been involved in a few musical projects. Why did you feel this one needed to have its own entity?
I think personally, it's hard to kind of frame music sometimes. I think if you put everything out under one title, or one artist name, it can be a bit confusing for the listener. And sometimes, that said, I've been guilty of putting out a lot of different things, and maybe that's a bit jarring for people to find my work. But I think this project in particular it's as we mentioned, like although it's the songs that I kind of brought to the group, it's very much a team effort, and I feel like it was necessary to acknowledge that and under a new name, and support that as a band.
What was the track that frustrated you more than any other on this during the process?
Part of the aforementioned grassroots recording style, we hired a great studio here in Melbourne, Sound Park, for 4 days, and the group of people involved in making the record, they're all incredible musicians, but love to really go late into the night. And we were doing maybe 4 14-hour days, burning the candle at both ends in the studio, just go and take out the take. And I think it was getting to there was a couple of nights we were like at like 1 or 2 a.m., at our wits end, just trying to get this track finished or to get the last sort of overdub. And at the very end of the fourth day, Henry Jenkins, incredible producer and engineer and mixing and bass player, but he was trying to track this one instrument, and it was like 2 a.m. and we were just so tired. I think everyone was just exhausted, so we had to kind of do a few overdubs at a different time.
Obviously, your music's very cinematic. Would you be open to creating a film score with this project at some stage if the opportunity arose?
Oh, it's the dream. It's the dream. I think that, Daniel, it's like, I'd love to definitely do that. Maximum respect to the film composers of the world and library music composers. It's incredible music. I just love the way the themes can be turned around into different moods, elicit different feelings at different times. And yeah, I'd love to do it. It'd be incredible.
Because you've got a pretty amazing independent film scene over in Australia, haven't you?
No, definitely. Blessed. Yeah, exactly right. There's, I guess, very lucky here in Melbourne. Lots of, it's kind of the arts capital of Australia. I'm sure people from all around Australia are shouting at me at this point, but there's so many great filmmakers, dancers, artists.
If I twisted your arm, what would be your favourite track on the album?
The one where most things kind of came together is that track, Fata Morgana. I've always wanted to kind of get a bit more involved with having strings on music, and my friend Sam Boone helped me arrange a few melodies and themes for the record. And yeah, I think I'm really proud of the way that sort of combined a lot of the sort of rhythm section writing we've been doing for the record, but also just sort of elevated it more into the world of the music that I love so much, that the sort of Giallo soundtracks, the film noir, like lots of that 60s and 70s string-based funky tunes. Yeah, I love that instrumentation on that. And yeah, Sam really helped us get that one together.
Mine's probably Cold Blood. I think it's the most Bond-sounding track in there. As I mentioned in the beginning, it's got that sort of David Holmes early 2000s soundtrack that I really think, certainly in the UK, he brought back that 60s composition style and that big sound. And for somebody who previously had only been known as sort of a DJ or electronic composer, because he already had the market there, he brought it to so many people.
He's incredible. His work's fantastic. Shout out to Pat at Rocksteady Records here in Melbourne. He put us on to David Holmes a few years ago. Just love his work. But yeah, I agree. Like it's on that sort of John Barry tip. A lot of that's early Bond arrangement sort of thing. So yeah, I'm humbled to be in that same sort of category. Thanks there, Daniel. Very kind.
On social media, you don't seem to be a big fan of social media because you're only on Instagram. I've spoken to a lot of artists about this. Do you find social media is a bit of a chore and you'd really just rather get on with the music?
Very much so. I think, it's hard to, exist in a sort of world where, we need to sell everything and, market ourselves and do that sort of thing, when particularly in the sort of funky world here in Australia and particularly in Melbourne, there's a lot of commercial music going on in Australia. There's also, we're fortunate to have a sort of a whole other scene where it's not based on making money. It's about just making good music and trying to make the best sort of thing you can. So I think, it's hard to sort of stomach sort of marketing yourself all the time. But, we try to do it in our own sort of way. And I think the best advertisement, hopefully, is the music itself, and rather than making video clips or selling ourselves, live videos, just see the band doing the thing. And yeah, I think that is more of a musical connection and a more authentic connection for us. So yeah, hopefully people get down with that. And it's a tricky thing. Social media, it's a bit of a deep world. So you try not to go too deep into that. But yeah, bringing it back to the music's always a good way to be, I reckon.
You've got some live videos on YouTube, which are great, but you've got nothing of you playing an actual show yet. Is that something that's planned in the longer term?
We actually just started playing some shows over this weekend. Last week in Sydney, we supported Ella Thompson, amazing soul singer, who we also play with. And we actually got a last minute. Someone pulled out this festival here in Australia, so we're playing there. There's plenty of shows planned. Hopefully one day we'll make it out of Australia, but a few sort of things happening Melbourne and Sydney to start with here over the next few months. So yeah, it's happening, and it's been great so far. So yeah, looking forward to doing a lot more of it.
As you mentioned before, you've just played your first live show. How was it to finally get the music played in front of people?
Oh, it was great. Like it was a bit of a support slot for us, so the pressure was off. But it was great. It came together really quickly. It was a show in Sydney at the Vanguard, which is a really beautiful venue if you ever get the chance to go there. Yeah, it was great. A lot better than expected. It's always a bit scary kind of doing that sort of thing for the first time, but I feel like, maybe that 3-year wait and listening to the tunes every so often paid off. It's really settled in and wasn't too painful. It was lots of fun.
Was that supporting Ella?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So you were the support band and the main band.
Yeah, exactly. It was literally the whole band minus Ella, and then Ella jumped on for the second set. So it was fantastic.
That's a bit of a crazy setup.
It was a long night, but lots of fun. Yeah.
What are your plans with the project live? Do you just want to play as much as possible, or as you're sort of heading towards recording the second album, are you not thinking so much about live at the moment? Where are you at with that?
Oh, I think a little bit of both is good. Like, it's a bit of a difficult, I don't know how about yourself over there, Daniel, but like, it's a little bit of a difficult landscape to play all the time here in Australia. There's kind of pretty tricky to get to our main cities. You got to fly. It's a long way to go, kind of do shows. So we like to make them special and do a sort of a run every so often. But we've got a few things coming up and just about to announce, but we're also thrive on kind of making records and being in the studio and kind of doing that thing together, which is a lot to look forward to. So yeah, got to finish off the next record songs in time for the recording. So that, a bit of both, which is exciting.
So the final question, what music are you listening to at the moment that listeners of the podcast may not be aware of and should take some time to check out?
In Melbourne, we're so lucky here. There's a lot of great bands. I'm sure you might have heard of some of them, like Surprise Chef, Karate Boogaloo, The Proteins, Ella Thompson, Alicia Joy. Lots of great people, Finn Rees. I'm going to blank on about a million people here, but love what people like Celine Desberg's doing at the moment, and also Daptone, Big Crown. Yeah, there's so much great music out there at the moment, and always good to keep searching and finding new things.
So for anyone wishing to find out more, you're on Instagram, YouTube, and Bandcamp.
Yeah, that's the three, the triangle.
Sumbisori by Temporary Blessings is out on the 4th of November on the College of Knowledge Records imprint. It's due to be released on vinyl, via Bandcamp, and on all streaming platforms. Is that everything?
That's it. Yeah, perfect. Can't wait for it to come out. Only a couple of weeks to go, and very exciting.
Liam, thanks for joining me on the podcast. It was great to find out a bit more about you and the music. And maybe end of next year, beginning of 2027, we'll be speaking again when the second album comes out.
Too kind. Yeah, fingers crossed on that. But thanks so much for having us, and appreciate it.